All right, let's jump right in. We're about to break down a book so intense, so controversial, that when Napoleon Hill wrote it back in 1938, it was considered too dangerous to publish. It was actually locked away for over 70 years. We're talking about Outwitting the Devil, a guide to taking control of your own mind, which finally saw the light of day in 2011.
So Hill's whole book is structured around this incredible, dramatic interview with a character he calls the Devil. And this quote really sets the tone. But let's be clear. He's not talking about some guy with a pitchfork and horns. He's talking about something much more real and much closer to home.
Right, so this devil is Hill's code word for all those negative forces inside our own heads. You know that little voice that whispers, "You can't do that," or that heavy feeling that makes you put things off until tomorrow and then the next day? That's it. It's the fear, the doubt, the procrastination. It's literally the part of you that is actively working against your own success. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to expose the devil's favorite weapons. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, the counterattacks. We'll talk about forging your purpose, rewiring your brain, and breaking free from the modern pleasure trap. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you can start mastering your own destiny. Ready? Let's go. Okay, let's pull back the curtain and look at the devil's playbook. Hill says we're controlled by two main weapons that are just devastatingly effective. You know, the first step to winning any battle is to understand your enemy's strategy, so let's dive in. The first weapon, and by far the most common, is something Hill calls mind drift. Now, this isn't just about getting distracted for a second. It's a whole state of being. It's when you're just passively reacting to everything around you, the news, what's trending on social media, other people's drama, instead of actively deciding what you want to think about and where you want to go. And here's the part that is just shocking. According to Hill's Devil, a staggering 98% of people are drifters. Let that sink in. The vast majority of people think they're free, but their minds are actually being hijacked by outside forces, leading them to procrastinate and stagnate without ever knowing why. This comparison just hits the nail on the head. A drifting mind is like a leaf in the wind, just getting tossed around with no control. But a purposeful mind? Totally different story. That's a ship with a captain, a rudder, and a clear destination. It chooses its own course and moves forward with intention, no matter what the currents are doing. All right, on to the second weapon, and it is a big one: fear. Hill's argument is that fear isn't just a random emotion. He says it's a weapon that gets deliberately planted in our minds for one reason and one reason only: to make us drop our ambitions and run back to the safety of what we already know. And he breaks it down into these 6 core fears that basically run the show for most of us. I mean, just look at this list and be honest with yourself. How many decisions or moments of inaction in your life have been secretly controlled by one of these? Fear of what people will think, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. These are the chains the devil uses to keep us trapped. Okay, so we've seen the weapons. A little grim, I know, but here's the good part. Now we talk about how to fight back. And the first, most powerful counterattack is to forge a definite, crystal clear purpose for your life. This is the ultimate antidote to mind drift. And I want you to really think about this for a second. Not a vague goal like, I want to be happy. I mean a razor-sharp vision. Do you know exactly what you want and where you're headed? Because if that answer is a fuzzy kinda, then you're leaving the door wide open. And here's why that's so crucial. If you don't define your own game, you will automatically become a piece in someone else's. You stop being the player and you become a pawn on their chessboard, helping them win their game. You end up living out a script that someone else wrote for you. The great thing is, Hill gives us a simple, practical formula. Step 1, get specific. What do you want? Write it down in detail. Step 2, slap a deadline on it. This creates real urgency. And step 3, the most important of all, take action, any action, toward it today. That very first step breaks the spell of procrastination and starts building momentum. So, if a definite purpose is your compass, now you need to build the mental strength to stay on that path. This part is all about building an inner fortress, rewiring your thought patterns, and developing ironclad self-discipline. This is so incredibly powerful. See, positive thinking isn't just about chanting affirmations. It's an active mental discipline. It's about catching that limiting thought, like, I can't do it, and instead of accepting it, you immediately flip it into a problem-solving question. Okay, how can I do it? That tiny shift moves you from being a victim to being a creator. And this quote, wow, it just completely turns our idea of discipline upside down, doesn't it? We usually think of discipline as being restrictive, like a cage, but Hill argues the exact opposite is true. Without discipline, you're the one who's not free. You're a slave to every mood swing, every craving, every notification on your phone.
So here's the real payoff. True freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like in the moment. It's the ability to master yourself. It's the power to choose your actions based on your goals, not your feelings. The power to get up and do the work even when you don't feel like it. That is self-mastery. And discipline is the only key that unlocks that door.
Now we get to the part where Hill was basically a prophet. He saw the modern battlefield decades before it existed, the constant 24/7 temptation of instant gratification. This is what he calls the pleasure trap.
I mean, take a look at this. It's painfully relatable, right? The devil's modern strategy is way more subtle now. It doesn't use force, it uses distraction. It offers us an all-you-can-eat buffet of cheap dopamine. Endless scrolling, binge-watching, junk food, all of it gives us the illusion of feeling good, while it quietly robs us of the time and energy we need to build a life that actually means something.
And let's be super clear about something. The goal here is not to become a monk and give up everything you enjoy. It's not about deprivation, it's about mastery. Successful people don't kill their desires, they control them. They learn how to take all that powerful energy and channel it like a fire hose toward achieving their main purpose.
So, we've gone deep into the devil's playbook and our most powerful ways to fight back. So what's the one single biggest takeaway from Napoleon Hill's masterpiece? Well, it all comes down to one incredibly empowering truth.
The devil isn't out there somewhere. It's in you. It's the sum total of your fears, your negative self-talk, and your undisciplined habits. And while that might sound scary at first, it's actually the most liberating news in the world. Why? Because if the enemy is within you, then it is 100% within your power to defeat it.
So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. After everything we've talked about today, I want you to take a hard, honest look at your thoughts, your habits, and your fears, and ask yourself, who is really at the controls here? Is it you, or is it the devil? Because the answer to that question will absolutely determine your destiny.